Hi, everybody. This is Ruta Lee, and you're listening to TV Confidential.
Ed Robertson welcoming you back to TV Confidential, radio talk show about television. As you can tell from the leaf blowers in the background, we're on location, folks. We're at Davenport's restaurant in beautiful Encino, California. It's a Wednesday afternoon in early May. Slight breeze. We're with Robert Crane, co-author along with Christopher Fryer of many, many books, accomplished freelance journalist. At one point in his career, he was the PR man, confidant, right-hand man to John Candy. John Candy is one of the characters in Bob's latest project with Christopher Fryer, which we'll tell you about in just a second. We're also with Meagan Bejar. She is the managing editor of Bob and Chris's latest book, which is called Three-Cornered Circle. It's a story of love, laughter, loss, and as we said, with our Leaf Blowers Live, we're going to navigate this as best we can. And eventually it'll die down. Love, loss, and laughter. It's also a coming-of-age story of sorts, even though the main character is in his mid-30s while this is happening. We'll get into that in just a second. Also with us, last but not least, is John Cerney. John Cerney, the man who makes three-dimensional, large-size murals that dot the highways and byways of California, but other parts of the country, including Marfa, Texas, where there's the big old tribute to James Dean and Giant. And if I remember correctly, 2025 marks the 70th anniversary of the filming of Giant, even though the movie was released in 56. Yes. Good to have all of you here today to talk about Three-Cornered Circle. Now, let's start with Bob. Bob, this is a Three-Cornered Circle. It is an adaptation of, I would say, one of the sub-stories of your book, Crane, Sex, Celebrity, and My Father's Unsolved Murder, which you also co-wrote with Chris Fryer. It's one of the great stories because it's the story of how you first got to know John Candy while also dealing with tragedy during your first marriage at the time. It's a story that could easily be a novel unto itself. Is there a particular reason why you chose to make it a screenplay?
You know, Ed, it's really in honor of John Candy that you said exactly, it could have been a novel form. We've seen millions of those. But we said, let's put it in the screenplay form in honor of John, who's the third character in this Three-Cornered Circle. I'm a character. My late wife, Kari, is a character, and John Candy is the third character. So that's why we called it that. Actually, we stole a title from a proposed Jack Nicholson movie in the 70s, which never got made. Hal Ashby was supposed to direct it. Chris and I, of course, interviewed Jack Nicholson for a book, so we heard this title. So 50 years later, we're putting the script together. I like that title, Three-Cornered Circle. And there's three main characters. So we said, let's do it.
There are three main characters, although it's interesting. I read the screenplay and then took a look at John's cover art, which clearly shows, John Candy, you, and Kari Hildegrand, your first wife. But I was thinking the third corner is Cancer, but then that would make it a four-cornered circle.
Yeah.
Which by definition is a square, but that's another conversation unto itself. Three-Cornered Circle, published by Kill-Fee Publishing, is available now as we speak through Amazon.com and other fine vendors of books. Now,
Ebook and paperback.
Ebooks and paperback, so you can read it on your portable device. I'm holding up my phone to the microphone. I could read this on my phone if I wanted to. All right, if I have, which I do. I have Kindle. I am slowly making my way into the 21st century. Now, Meagan, you are the managing editor of this book. Now, I know what a managing editor does for magazines. I know what a managing editor does for a radio talk show about television. I know there's a lot of overseeing involved. So what was your role in the process, and what was it like to work with Bob?
Say my role is really taking a piece that's already done and working with authors and helping them turn it into something that's either on ebook form or in written form. So I don't do a lot of editing the content. That's something that I don't feel like I could do, but getting to work with Bob I feel very lucky. I feel like this piece is going to connect with a lot of people. I definitely cried reading it while I was editing it. So really my job is to just make sure it flows on the page and that it's going to give the readers the best version of the story.
It's Bob. I might add that Meagan, this is the third time we've worked together.
Okay.
I had a compilation book a few years ago, which was the best of the Q&As and articles I had done for magazines.
Hollywood Plateau.
Thank you, Hollywood Plateau.
I think John also did the cover with that as well.
No, I was just about to mention. Meagan did the cover.
Okay. I wanted you to...
Yeah. And it's a fantastic shot of the Hollywood sign falling apart and being overgrown, because it's just kind of an inside joke. And Meg and Ricky actually helped her. They put together the image of the Hollywood sign and seen it in, after better times. These are kind of falling apart times. And then we worked together on this, and the third piece is Beyond Where the Buses Run, Stories.
Yes.
I contributed the story, Chris Fryer, Joe Coyle, Teresa Griffin Kennedy, Kari Hildegrand, and Meagan contributed the closer to the book. It's called Closure. A fantastic piece. Everybody should read this book. It's great, short stories, and Meagan's piece. And then now this book. This is our third time.
Beyond Where the Buses Run is available through Oregon Greystone Press, wherever books are sold, online, Amazon.com, and both in Kindle and e-form. We're talking to Robert Crane, John Cerney, and Meagan Bejar on the patio at Davenport's restaurant in beautiful downtown Encino, it's very quiet. So I should probably stop. I should probably keep navigating, take advantage of the fact there are no leaf blowers. Three-Cornered Circle available paperback and as an ebook through Kill Fee Press, as well as Amazon.com, where books are sold online.
Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
One more item. If you're starting a company, particularly one that is in an emerging market, you know that averting any sort of legal dispute is crucial to your business plan. Our friends at Tectonic Law offer an array of services that can help you avoid and preempt future litigation while also developing and protecting your intellectual property and intangible assets. Tectonic Law serves the needs of a host of emerging industries throughout California and beyond, including industrial designers, beverage makers, artists, farmers, retail stores, health practitioners, wellness experts, cosmetics manufacturers, nonprofit organizations, innovators in sustainable practices, and libraries. Go to tectoniclaw.com to learn more about how Tectonic Law can help your business thrive. tectoniclaw.com. Rock solid representation for groundbreaking industries.
This portion of TV Confidential is brought to us by our friends at Front Porch Realty, the community of realtors in the Northern Bay Area of California that is committed to finding the solution that is best for their clients. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking to sell or lease your property in Northern California, call Karen Strain at 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com for more information on how they can help you.
Hi, this is Kevin Pollak, and you're listening to TV Confidential.
This is it, folks. This is what it's all about. One game. There is no tomorrow. This is for the whole Magilla, for the whole ball of wax, for the whole kit and caboodle, for the whole enchilada, the whole shooting match. This is for all the marbles. The division championship. The loser goes home a loser. The winner moves on to the World Series. I can't believe it. I've been waiting my whole life to say those words, because I've said the word before, but never like World Series, and I'm on the air. We'll be right back.
There's another three-corner circle at play. It involves Bob, John Candy, and John Cerney. And that John Candy was one of your early sponsors, if I remember correctly, or early patrons with some of your three-dimensional giant-sized murals.
Well, not exactly. I was already good friends with Bob Crane at the time, and Bob said, "Come on over to John's office, and I don't know, get involved somehow." He saw the potential for John to use me, not for the giant cutout paintings, but for some drawings, potential, some commission work, and ultimately that's what happened. John Candy had recently purchased the Toronto Argonauts with Wayne Gretzky and Bruce McNall, so I think it was around Christmas time. It was probably in the summer, but he wanted to give them a gift for Christmas, and I was commissioned to do 3 giant drawings, pretty big sized drawings. It took me about 2 months apiece to do, and it was fabulous. It's like a feather in your cap. I was busy at the time doing work for other TV shows at the time, Growing Pains and a couple of other shows. But it was really nice. I thank Bob forever for that. Plus a trip to Winnipeg to see the Grey Cup football championship game, and on the private plane with the rest of the celebs and all that, and Gretzky and John Candy and all that. It was great, yeah.
Who were some of the other TV people that you worked with?
I did commercial work that would be Folgers Coffee.
Good to the last drop.
Yeah, that was one of them. An artist doing a giant painting, I was commissioned to do half of a painting, and that while the artist was sitting there sipping a cup of coffee, contemplating the rest of her work. Growing Pains was another a Christmas present for the cast, crew, producers, directors. It was like 17 drawings. Took me like 8 months to do. So these are Christmas presents. So I was in my apartment, slaving away doing small little pencil drawings. It take me forever because they're realistic looking. So I paint this a similar way, but it takes longer to do drawings. But that kept me busy, and I would do work for writers of other shows. Word of mouth got around that I did family portraits. So a writer and his family, I would go to the beach of Santa Monica, photograph their family, and do a commission work of that. So I did a lot of that for about 8 or 9 years, living in Bob Crane's father-in-law's apartment complex in Van Nuys.
Chuck.
Yes, yeah. And I knew the book, I'm close to Three-Cornered Circle. I was very close with Kari, and I knew John, so I knew Kari through her entire ordeal. So I was there for all of that until the very end, and I just got the phone call, knowing what the phone call was, that she finally passed. She was brave till the end, but involved in a TV production at her last big project till the very end, and died in Canada.
Three-Cornered Circle is available wherever books are sold through Kill Fee Publishing. Robert Crane, the co-author, along with Christopher Fryer of Three-Cornered Circle, is with us, along with Meagan Bejar and John Cerney, as we talk about the release of the book on location at the patio of Davenport's restaurant in Encino, California. Later on this hour, we will hear from Chris Fryer. Chris Fryer, co-author of Three-Cornered Circle and longtime collaborator of Robert Crane. I mentioned earlier, Bob, it's a coming-of-age story in the sense that you're in your early 30s when the action begins, and Kari is at the height of her career as a professional landscaper, and you're doing okay. I mean, you've already, but by this point, you and Chris have already released the Nicholson book, and you're doing some freelance work for various publications. But there's a little, to use a common acronym, Kari thinks there's more that you can do to be your best self at the time. And so, but slowly, as she learns that she has cancer, you rise to the occasion, and while you end up meeting John Candy and receive one of the biggest breaks in your professional career, you have to balance your responsibilities to John with your responsibilities with your wife.
Well, Kari, like my present wife, I don't mean that sounding temporary. Yeah. She's my wife for the rest of my life. Leslie Bertram is very exacting. She knows what she wants. Kari was very much like that. I guess I'm attracted to that kind. Meagan Bejar, she knows what she wants. That's why she designed this book, and I respect that. I've always been attracted to strong women. I love it. They have so much to take on. Meagan is a mother. Leslie is a mother. Kari was not a mother, but they take on those roles plus trying to be creative. That's a couple of giant things to juggle, and I'm just very attracted to that, everything that they do. I mean, Meagan, in designing this book, she's juggling taking care of a 3-year-old daughter and trying to find time to put this together. I'll let her explain it better than I can. And I just am attracted to those kind of women.
Meagan.
No, I think it takes a strong man to be attracted to a strong woman. It's not, we're not easy to deal with. But I think, especially reading this story, what really struck me about, Kari's kind of perspective was being able to get both sides of the story, which I think we don't get often, with a woman that's going through cancer, who's having to look at her body change and all of these things happening, and all of these horrible things happening at the same time as her husband, gaining a lot of accolades in his career and doing really well, and, trying to celebrate those things at the same time as being respectful of her and her journey. And I think that, was a very difficult thing. I mean, obviously you can speak on this, but I think that was a very difficult thing for you to go through, but to learn a lot about yourself. And I also think we don't talk a lot about what happens to the people that are left behind. Obviously you've been able to move on and get remarried and things like that, but there's a huge part of you that's still connected to her, and what it's like for those people after either their wives or very good friends or somebody passes.
3/4 Circle available paperback and as an ebook through Killfee Press, as well as Amazon.com, where books are sold online.
I had forgotten that Kari and John died within 30 days of each other.
Actually, 5 months. 5 months.
Okay.
Which is close enough.
Well, I thought I read 30 days and towards the end of the book. The fact of the matter is you lost your wife, and then you lost, your best friend and your boss, and that's okay. Well, I could re-ask that in post-production.
And you're right. And we might have taken it down, but in reality it was 5 months.
Yeah, okay. Well, no, look,
taken it down.
Well, look, the beauty of a screenplay is you take all the slow parts of life and you cut it out, and so there's a lot to pack in 120 pages. And what I loved about reading this is that everything is done. I like writing with economy. I try to do it myself. I don't always succeed, but you both being you and Chris Fryer, you both paint very vivid, very detailed pictures without using a lot of words. That is not easy to do.
And that's one of the things I loved about Meagan being the editor on this. She works with the economy. The story I was referring to, Closure, in Beyond Where the Buses Run Stories, she writes in a few pages what we think all the time and can't put the words together. And she is boom, 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 every sentence. So I knew we needed something like this for a screenplay because of what you just said. You only have so much time, so much space. You can't go on forever unless you're, making a 3.5-hour movie, which we're not. And so that was exactly it. So I apologize. It might be 30 days in the script. I got to read it again. In reality, it was 5 months between Kari's death and John Candy's. It was a 1-2 punch.
Meagan, Bob mentioned that when you write, you tend to write with economy. Do you have favorite writers that inspire you that you try to emulate, or is that a style that you developed on your own?
It definitely isn't. It's mostly because when I write, I'm not really expecting anyone to read it. So I really just am writing what's in my head. And that tends to be because I'm not trying to create an image for someone else, because I'm not trying to describe things in order to get some person to read it. I think I'm able to just say what I want to say without all the extra fluff, maybe. So really, I mean, when I wrote the piece that he's speaking about, I really only expected him to read it. It was actually in a response to something that Bob wrote. It was really just what I was feeling in the moment about that piece. I never expected it to be in a book. I never expected anyone else to read it. So in that, it is very honest, I think, and that kind of helps me write that way.
This is not your first foray in the book industry, and so hopefully when you do something for a book, you do it hoping people will read it.
Yes, when I'm helping other authors, absolutely. I am hoping other people will read it, and I am looking at it that way. I'm looking at it more of a reader's perspective than another author.
That's good.
But when I write, I'm not writing it for an audience. Okay. So that's why I think it's different. But yes, when I am helping with the books, I am definitely hoping that people are going to get something from this and connect and
Are there other clients you work with, Meagan? Are there other clients that you'd like to work with? And if so, how can people find you?
I mean, this is all very new to me. I have worked with a couple of other clients many years ago on a couple of books, but I don't even know if those books are available anymore. But I am, available to, if anyone is looking just for someone who could help them turn their book into an ebook or just get their stuff out there. They have something that they've, written a long time ago or that they just really don't know what to do with. I can definitely help you get it out there for readers. I guess in order to, I should probably set up something in order to contact.
Yeah,
if you want to reach out to Bob, yeah. If you want to talk to another author and see, what it's like to work with me, I would absolutely reach out to Bob. And I'm available for stuff for certain people I would like to work with and stuff I really believe in. So.
Well, no, it's a good field to get in.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely helped me have the ability. I for a long time I was a massage therapist, and once I had my daughter, I was unable to work. So having this be something that I can do and be a mom at the same time has been very nice. So I'm appreciative for the work.
If you want to reach Meagan Bejar, or for that matter, if you want to reach Robert Crane, Christopher Fryer, or John Cerney, you can do so by writing us at talk@tvconfidential.net, talk@tvconfidential.net. We will forward your correspondence directly to them. Meagan Bejar is the managing editor of Three Cornered Circle, the new book by Robert Crane and Christopher Fryer that, among other things, celebrates the life and career of John Candy. John Cerney did the cover art for Three Corner Circle. John, Bob, and Meagan and I are celebrating the release of Three Corner Circle from the patio of Davenport's restaurant in Encino, California. We'll play more of our conversation with John, Bob, and Meagan next week on TV Confidential. Among other things, John and Bob will share a few up-close and personal stories of their friend, John Candy. That's coming up next week on TV Confidential. Three Cornered Circle available wherever books are sold through Kill Fee Productions as well as Amazon.com. Speaking to Christopher Fryer, Chris will join us by phone. We come back on TV Confidential.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-222-0511. 800-222-0511. Again, that's 800-222-0511.